If you spend enough time online, you will eventually encounter the theory that the creators of The Simpsons can broadcast global events years before they happen. Millions of people believe the show's writers possess an unnatural ability to perfectly map the future. The examples are often highly specific. In a 1995 episode, the show featured a distinct triangular shape behind London's Tower Bridge. 14 years later, construction began on the Shard, matching that exact location and design. In 1993, an episode featured a white tiger attacking its owners. 10 years later, the magicians Secret and Roy were attacked on stage by their own white tiger. Then the predictions crossed into high-stakes politics. The show animated storylines featuring Donald Trump as the President of the United States, long before his political career gained traction, and even illustrated characters wearing the exact purple outfits that figures like Kamala Harris would later wear at her own inauguration. This leaves us with two possibilities. Either the creators of this cartoon are time travelers involved in deep state operations, or the internet is falling for a massive collective cognitive illusion. Let's start with the rational perspective. Psychologists call it survivor bias, our tendency to focus entirely on the rare hits while completely ignoring the thousands of misses. To understand the scale, you have to look at the show's history. Over 36 years and 800 episodes, The Simpsons has broadcast an estimated 1.2 million individual jokes. When you filter that massive ocean of data, you are left with just a few dozen scenarios that happen to come true. If a team of writers throws 1.2 million creative darts at a board over 3 decades, statistical probability guarantees a few of them will hit a bullseye. Given enough random creative swings, a handful of scenarios will mirror reality by pure chance. Statistics can account for the sheer volume of hits, but they struggle to explain the uncanny precision of a single, highly specific storyboard. To understand how a writer imagines a specific building 14 years before it exists, we have to look at who those writers actually are. The investigation shifts the moment we focus on the individuals writing the show, starting with creator Matt Groening. His career is marked by a documented presence at elite conferences like TED throughout the 90s, where he was exposed to emerging technologies years before they reached the general public. We know his access reached the highest levels of global power. Court documents placed Groening on Jeffrey Epstein's private jet, the Lolita Express, proving his physical proximity to a highly exclusive network of global elites. That closed-loop access extends to the rest of the show's writers. The core staff is almost exclusively recruited from a specific academic pipeline at top-tier Ivy League institutions like Harvard and Princeton. These are the exact same university ecosystems that produce global strategists, think tank analysts, and the architects of policy who attend secretive global summits like Bilderberg. They share the same mentors, the same social circles, and the same high-level briefings. The writers aren't using magic to see the future. They are simply writing scripts based on the conversations they have with the people actively designing the future. This connection to the state is institutional. The U.S. Department of Defense and the CIA both maintain permanent entertainment liaison offices, specifically to manage how the military and intelligence communities are portrayed on screen. These offices collaborate with studios to review and alter scripts. By providing technical support and equipment, they gain the authority to ensure that the fictional narratives align with real-world state interests. We see this influence in specific script changes. When a Marvel movie used the name Operation Ranch Hand, the Pentagon forced a name change. Ranch Hand was the real-world code name for the military operation that sprayed millions of gallons of toxic chemicals over the jungles of Vietnam. This level of collaboration allows for a strategy called predictive programming. As this graph shows, exposing a society to a shocking concept in fiction first can flatten the public panic curve when that event later occurs in reality. To make these simulations accurate, intelligence agencies conduct threat scenario workshops with writers. They outsource the task of imagining chaotic geopolitical crises to creative minds, using fiction to map out potential real-world reactions. Blockbuster entertainment is a calculated tool for influence. It functions as an active psychological conditioning program used by the state to prepare the masses for orchestrated changes. Placing The Simpsons back into this machinery makes the predictions look more like highly educated simulations. The show sits directly at the overlap between those who build our culture and those who manage our intelligence operations. Because the writers attend those closed-door tech conferences and live in the same academic echo chambers as policymakers, Their jokes are often based on technologies and political strategies that are already in development behind the scenes. If you look at the historical pattern, every major geopolitical shift is almost always planted as an idea in media long before it becomes physical reality. The Simpsons does not possess a crystal ball. It thrives inside an elite environment where the architects of culture and the architects of policy are the exact same people. A cartoon predicting the future is a distraction from a more immediate reality. How the screens we watch are actively mapping our expectations. Perception control is a documented, institutionalized reality. In a world where the state helps write the scripts, remaining a passive consumer is a vulnerability. Once you recognize that entertainment is a calculated tool for influence, you break the conditioning. You transition from a manipulated audience into an immune, active observer.